Welcome to Finding Your Frequency, the show where we meet people here in North Florida, find out who they are, what they're doing, where they're headed, and what it'll take to get there. And this week, we don't have enough time for Curtis Dvorak, right? The original Jackson DeVille, who has been gone for what?
9 years.
9 years now. And you've been in TV, and now you're at the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens. You were just telling a story about surgery on a tiger cub. What that's all about?
No, I obviously Jackson DeVille, the Jaguars is what brought me here to town, 1996 or whatever that is.
I remember
28 years ago. And it was a great career. 19 years with them, loved it. But I got a great offer to go to First Coast News and co-host a show called First Coast Living. Did that for 5 years, and then while I was on that, met a gentleman named Jay Mariano, who was starting this company called Shark Coatings.
I remember those commercials too.
He got so busy and he said, hey, do you want to jump in here with us and be a spokesperson for us? And so I said, yep, absolutely, I'll do that. And then the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens, which I've been a huge fan of my entire 28 years here in town, whether it was as Jackson DeVille doing appearances out there or in the news doing stories out there nonstop. I love the place. I think it's so great, and it's such a hidden gem, and there's so many people in town that don't go to it. And so I told them, I was like, you need somebody out there pushing, your stories, because there's so much going on.
And I know the perfect guy.
Yeah, and so I jumped in, and I said, and so I'm doing that, and then, I basically, I wrote, when you asked me, what are you doing? I said, when people ask me, what do you do for a living? I said, well, I hang out with my wife and my 3 kids.
Yeah.
What I do to pay bills?
Yeah.
I tell people to buy shark coatings.
Yeah.
I tell people to go to the Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens.
Sure.
I tell people Hampton Golf is amazing and you should go to all of their courses, one of their 30 plus courses. I tell people you should rent my RVs at Open Heart RV Rentals. And also you should go to Shim Sham Room and Hop Tanger Jack's Beach.
Are you still involved in all those?
Yes.
So you're Gordon Gekko. I mean, you're Mr. Wall Street here.
Well, I wouldn't say Wall Street. It'd be like the street, like 2 streets off of Wall Street. I'm not, those are investments. But I don't know. I've been in town 28 years and I love having my hand in a lot of things.
Right.
But mostly right now, my ROI, when I talk ROI, it's time with my family.
Right.
So if something needs me away from my family, there better be a really good reason.
You're the oldest kid I know, right? I mean, you always were. I mean, he was the guy who was riding through the hallways on a scooter. He always had the latest, greatest toys. Companies sent them to him. He was in more trouble than anyone else in that building for his antics, and Bill Cowher still considers him to be a close and personal friend.
That's why we never got Coach Cowher here as a coach.
He wanted nothing to do with Jackson DeVille.
No way.
And you have 3 kids.
Yeah.
Which surprises everyone who knows you.
5, 3, and 5 months.
So you're in the middle of it. So the zoo's probably a place where you hang out quite a bit.
It is, and that's what's really cool about the place is seeing my kids grow up there. Like, it's a whole, as everybody says, and everybody knows, you see it through your eyes, and then all of a sudden you see it through your kids' eyes. Yeah. And now seeing the zoo through their eyes, and my son goes to zoo school. My 3-year-old daughter, she knows her way around the zoo. She can point you to any animal at the zoo, and tell you where they are. It's so cool seeing them grow up there.
And then the RV business?
It was 2019. My wife and I, we wanted to do some RV trips, and I knew I'd always loved RV trips, but I'd mostly only done golf trips with the guys, or bachelor parties with some people. So different types.
That's another podcast altogether.
Totally different type of RV trip than what I'm doing now. But I've always loved RVs, and we rented one. And I saw RV Share and Outdoors, all these people renting out their RV, and I was like, wait a minute, that's genius. Because the problem with an RV is that you buy it, it sits for 330 days a year.
Right.
And so now we basically are into that one. We had a couple RVs, we sold one, and we rented out, just trying to show other people how great RV life is, and also have other people pay for our fun toy.
Yeah, exactly. You always had a way. So is there an umbrella website where people find all of these things? Or which website do you want to give out? Because people are only going to remember one.
I know. They're only going to remember, golly. Shark Coatings and Jacksonville Zoo and Gardens are my 2 primary things that I'm doing right now. Yeah. That's where I spend most of my time. Shark Floor, everybody can find Shark Coatings pretty easily.
You see the cars and the trucks all over the place.
Everywhere.
And everyone knows where the zoo is. What's coming up at the zoo, right? What's the summer at the zoo going to be like for families with kids in Jacksonville?
So right now, obviously, we got Art in the Garden coming up, which we're in the middle of Botanical Bash, which all month of April. The whole botanical gardens are blooming. But the zoo in the summer, you have Illuminates and a bunch of other things. But really, what's coming up at the zoo is we already broke ground on a brand new entrance. $70 million project. Brand new entrance. It's going to be the Jay Wayne and Dolores Barr Weaver Manatee River.
God bless it. Should be.
But you're going to walk into the zoo now with a whole new entrance and you'll come right into this massive Florida spring, which will have manatees in it. And we still have our critical care center, so a whole new thing there. We have an elephant conservation center in the plans down in the next 5 years. The lions are being moved, new animals are coming, exhibits are being changed. Over the next 10 years, the zoo is going to transform into something you wouldn't recognize. But sadly, a lot of people wouldn't recognize it because they haven't been out there in so long.
Listen, I lived there while my kids were young. I haven't been in years because they're out of college.
Sure.
I have to get back.
You have to get back. It is it's the botanical gardens alone. Being the most biodiverse 120 acres on the First Coast. If you like going outdoors and you like oxygen and you like the most beautiful park we have in the area, come on
all
out.
those things.
And then, by the way, there's giraffes and rhinos and
Listen, just
elephants.
keep talking.
Yeah.
Just keep talking. Curtis Dvorak, longtime friend.
Good seeing you.
So good to see that you're doing well.
Thanks, man.
And thanks for helping us kick off Finding Your Frequency.
We didn't get to talk about Thule Air Force
you'll
Base.
be back. Listen, hold on.
We went to Thule Air Force Base
In
together.
Greenland.
We should talk about that.
Well, that's the podcast with the RV and the bachelor party. That's a whole nother one, folks. That's a subscriber, right? We got to check those boxes off. We'll see you next time on Finding Your Frequency.